Kenya is a land of extremes. 1 minute you're cruising through smooth tarmac and the next unagonga tu potholes. But the good thing is we have a car for every occasion. Enter the Toyota Prado J120, a car that flexes in the city and conquers the muddy roads of Oshago without asking for a break.
My name is Okongo. I am passionate about cars, 4x4s to be specific. I enjoy off-roading, camping, and adventure. And my life and work is pretty much about that.
Kindly give us a brief history on how you landed the J120.
Prior to owning the J120, I drove a Toyota RAV4, which was fantastic for city driving, but it just couldn't get me to where I wanted to go for three main reasons. The first reason is clearance. Second reason is that it just didn't have low-range gearing to get me over the tough obstacles that I needed to get to and get traction and get over them. And space. Just didn't have the space that I needed at the time. That's why I decided to make the switch or the upgrade.
Most SUVs out here come packed with the features that you're looking for, so I'd want to know why specifically the J120?
J120 made sense for me because it was a familiar vehicle. It's a Toyota. I had a RAV4 prior, so it's a very familiar ecosystem. Easy to work on, I know my way around the vehicle. Another reason is the cost of purchase of the vehicle. Compared to other vehicles of its year and its class, the price was very competitive. Another reason is the cost of ownership. So it has a very broad aftermarket support in terms of part sales and parts availability. So that drives the cost of ownership down. And lastly, the 5VZ engine is very reliable. It's known to be extremely reliable, one of the best engines that Toyota made. And as long as you take care of the engine with regular service intervals, it makes sense. It will run forever. So that's why the J120 made sense for me.
I like how valid your reasons are as to why you got it. How long have you had it, Napia? Are there any memorable experiences that you've had with it?
I've owned the J120 for close to 3 years now and have put close to 40,000 kilometers on the clock. My most memorable moment, it's hard to choose because I've had a lot of memories, but the one that I think comes close to memory or close to my heart is a trip that I did down to Lake Natron. So we went through Lake Magadi, through the salt flats, down to Lake Natron in Chompole Conservancy. It was not a technical drive particularly. No one got stuck or anything, but just the fact that I felt like this car was in its natural territory. The drive was fun, it was easy to drive. It allowed me to go to somewhere that I otherwise might not have been able to get to.
WRC. Take videos.
We should definitely do that Lake Natron road trip. Ina sound amazing. Ningetaka kujua how does this car handle rough terrain na umeipeleka through any challenging off-road trails?
It handles tough terrain and challenging trails extremely well. The vehicle comes equipped with high and low range gears and center locking differential. So high and low range gears basically means that at low RPM, so when you're driving really slowly, it gives you a lot of torque at that low speed. So you're able to clear and get out of these sticky situations with a lot of ease and control and safety. And it has a center locking differential, which basically just splits power at 50-50 equally between the front and rear axle. So it gives a lot of traction. Testament to this is a trip I did to Lake Ellis on the slopes of Mount Kenya via the Chogoria Gate. And anyone who's been there knows about Magnet Hill, which is extremely steep and has loose gravel, which makes it have very little traction. And the vehicle did extremely well and earned its stripes. For city driving, I do between 6.5 to 7 kilometers per liter. And for when I'm off-road, I do about 6 to 6.5 kilometers per liter. Naturally, because you are at lower speeds and usually you may engage four-wheel drive, so that typically consumes a bit more fuel. So my consumption between the two uses is not too big. Relatively the same. Remember that this is a 3.4 liter V6 engine from a 205 model, so it is not a very efficient engine, so it doesn't have VVTi. In comparison to other models, depending on the year of car vehicle that you're talking about, you might be looking at about 8 to 10 to 11 kilometers per liter, which is more efficient. But for me, it works. I love how the engine sounds. I love the low end torque that it gives me.
Are there any changes that you've made or any modifications you've added to improve the off-road capabilities of this car?
So the first change that I made is that I removed the side step just to improve ground clearance and prevent scraping and scratching on boulders and rocks and that sort of thing. The next thing that I did was that I swapped the highway terrain tires that come with the vehicle to all-terrain tires, and I also increased the tire size from the stock 265/60 17 to a 265/70 which is slightly taller. I also upgraded my suspension. So I upgraded my shocks and coils to taller, stiffer ones that would increase the suspension travel, allowing me to have better clearance and carry more weight as well. For my rear shocks, I'm running Land Cruiser 200 series shocks, which are beefier and stronger and slightly taller, allowing me to load the vehicle more and also have a safer and more smooth ride as well.
Given an open check, what will be your ultimate off-roader and why?
So this may differ from what a lot of people may want, but I would be very happy with the 100 series Land Cruiser with the 1HDT FE engine. It's a diesel engine, very simple to work on. Parts are very available. And being a diesel engine at low speeds and low RPMs, it has a lot of torque, which means it can get me out of very sticky situations. It's extremely powerful and it's fun to drive. And in addition to that, it's a good mix of a newer modern vehicle and a 90s classic.
Before Gize tupate kwa msitu, who will you recommend this car to, and to the novice owners, any advice to them?
So this car is perfect for anyone who has an adventurous spirit and likes getting outdoors, but at the same time is looking for something that will allow them to get around the city comfortably. And in that sense, it's an extremely versatile vehicle. And for novice owners who want to get into off-roading, some of the first things you need to do is swap your highway terrain tires for all-terrain tires and definitely upgrade your suspension. But for basic off-roading, the car comes pretty capable as it is.
So there you have it, guys. Prado si ya kutafuta kura pekee ama overlap kwa barabara. Take it outside, ipeleke kwa milima, ipeleke ocha, and indulge your adventurous spirits.